What's up, crypto fam? It's Crypto Compassion. I got to hit you with the disclaimer. You know the rules.
The content shared in this YouTube video, as well as any resources linked below, is not intended to be interpreted or relied upon as financial advice. We are not lawyers, accountants, or financial advisors, nor do we claim to be. The information provided is not a replacement for personalized financial advice from a qualified professional who understands the specific details of your situation. While we strive to ensure the accuracy and value of the information shared on this channel and through associated resources, it should not be considered a recommendation to avoid consulting with a financial professional. Always seek guidance from a trusted expert to address your unique circumstances.
With that being said, welcome into the shit show. I was getting some flack there from Bets and Crypto saying, hey, you know, we kind of gotta put that out there again and keep doing that. But anyways, welcome into the shit show. We're excited to have Fat Sammy in here. I really don't know that much about Pulse Bitcoin other than the fact there was this nefarious individual that was involved with it. And I know that that person's gone for the most part. And then there was this awesome opportunity for someone to come in and kind of rebuild it. You know, the foundation was set. But with that being said, our boy AJ Rip City made this awesome intro for our boy Fat Sammy, and I believe we have a special guest also in the green room.
Flows through every link, building the kingdom quicker than you think. A surge of hope in every node, creating paths, laying the road. Richest dream, a future vast. The pulse is here, the die is cast. Rise up the pulse, a kingdom grows. Hoorah, hoorah, the power shows. In every block, the dream unfolds. Here in shades of gold. King and queen stand side by side, building the realm, no need to hide. The pulse beats on, strong and true, lighting the way, breaking through. From darkness form, the chain ascends, a force of change that never ends. Rise up a pulse, a kingdom grows. The power shows.
With that being said, welcome everyone and anyone watching live or on the replay. You know, hey, hit the likes, share, sub, all that kind of good stuff. I just want to congratulate everyone, you know, in Hexaco and PulseChain. This shit isn't easy, you guys. We've been really going through it, and I know everyone has personal stuff going on in their lives. And then they add on the fact that they're trying to, you know, build a digital nation within DeFi that has all these different emotions. So welcome in, congratulations. And with that being said, konnichiwa! Welcome in, fellas.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey. Good to have you, Fat Sammy. You're muted, but great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
How you doing? I know that Fast there's been busy himself, also streaming all the time, but I also saw him on the Hex conference there with Matty All In, and you know, that's just such a sign of strength within the community, even though we're all kind of anticipating a brighter future. But I kind of want to hear what you have to say, what your sentiment is as far as like not just PulseChain, but also what, you know, kind of break down for me what Pulse Bitcoin is, because I really don't know that much.
Okay, I mean, first of all, from a macro level, I'm very bullish on the 4-year cycle playing through this route. Very bullish on the incoming government in the US. Obviously, yeah. So I've just taken out some longs on the recent dip in the macro market. So I've thrown the kitchen sink at it. I'm all in, everything in. So I'm very bullish. In terms of PulseChain, obviously it's been a very difficult ride for us. I used to be a Bitcoin maxi. Love my Bitcoin. Was trading that for many years. Discovered Richard Hart very late, and what he had to say was just mind blowing for me. So I'm a wave 2 hexagon. Never had that crazy bull run which the first wave guys had, but got literally addicted to Hexaco. And then obviously when PulseChain was launched, I managed to get into the PulseX sacrifice, and for me, it was just an amazing place to launch products, to talk to an amazing community of builders. And I think even though it's been a a long and tough road, I really think that PulseChain is going to be the better Ethereum in the long run. So yeah, obviously a lot of us are waiting for this SEC case. I have got a lot of money sitting in stable right now, waiting for this SEC case. Whether it be good news or bad news, I'll be buying. But I'm just waiting for that news because yeah, I'm ready to go, ready to pump this thing in PulseChain wise.
Yeah, I mean to kind of
it's impossible.
Yeah, I'm like you. I was kind of a phase 2 February of 2021, put a timestamp on it. You know, Joe Perry's the YouTuber. I was in his small group and he turned me on to Hex back then, and I just fell in love. And he kind of made his rounds on the tour bus of crypto with many different cryptos. And I said, hey, I'm going to get off the bus right here because I kind of fell in love with the ethos of Richard and everything that he was talking about. And I just didn't want to continue going down that path of just being so degenerate. And nothing against Joe. I love Joe because I don't think he's degenerate, but I just didn't want to be in that camp anymore because I felt like, hey, when you know, right? And you have a strong conviction, and that doesn't mean you don't look over the wall and see what other people are doing, but there's that sense of like, this is where something great's going to be built. And with that being said, you know, PulseBitcoin came out, and that was like, it seemed like years ago.
It was.
And there was a concept I mean, I guess kind of break down the mechanics of it for me.
Sure.
And what kind of makes it different than, of course, Bitcoin and it being on PulseChain.
Yeah, sure. No problem. So the guys, those two developers that developed it, they were both, you know, who knows? We don't really know their true identity. Well, we kind of do, but I'm not sure their relationship with Richard Hart, but they were big hexagons. They built a lot of the stats page and data for Hex. And they launched a project called Pulse Dogecoin during the bear market. So after the PulseX and the PulseChain sacrifices, after I put my money into that, you know, Bitcoin did its top. Richard called it. And then we just were sitting there bored for a while. PulseChain wasn't out, and we wanted something to do with our money. And Hex Info came along and launched this Pulse Dogecoin, which was basically an improved version of Dogecoin, exclusive to the Ethereum network. Had around 6 million tokens, I believe, something like that. Maybe 12 million tokens. I can't quite remember. And came out $1. Was available to every hexagon that's staked, you know, and it rewarded the middle holders rather than the whales, so which was quite refreshing. So I logged in, saw I had a few $100s worth there from my staked hex in Pulse Doge. I dumped it like many other people, and then I looked at the chart and it just kept going up. It went from $1 up to $9, retraced down to a couple of dollars, then did it again, and did it 3 times. So you had three 9x opportunities. In the heart of the bear market when everything was going to shit. So I think we got up to around 9,000 holders there. Then that's when I started to kind of become a content creator and started kind of supporting the system. And we had a few influential people like Pepe and Wolverine who were kind of promoting it, and good momentum. We had lots of hexagons involved. And, you know, it was a high mining rate. So I enjoyed it. It was good at the time, and so yeah, it was an opportunity. And then the ASIC mining token came out, and basically what you could do then, Hexinfo released a better version of Bitcoin. So basically, exactly the same as Bitcoin, 21 million tokens, but it utilized the proof of stake technology rather than work.
Right.
So instead of mining it with hardware, using proof of work, using electricity and whatnot. There was around 18 million ASIC tokens.
Okay.
You could purchase them or burn your PLSD for 4 tokens for every one. And then you could put those into basically a 30-day stake and mine Pulse Bitcoin. The first halving, the halvings are different basically. So whereas Bitcoin kind of halves every 4 years,
right?
Pulse Bitcoin basically, once you get to 50% of the supply, it goes to halving 1. So for the first period, you mine for 30 days your ASIC, you get 7.5% in Pulse Bitcoin. Once 50% was mined, it goes into the second halving. Now you're all mining for 25% of the total supply. After that one, I think with the third one we're in now, you're getting about 1.75% every 30 days. So yeah, obviously that launched on Ethereum before PulseChain was out. PulseChain came along. We were the highest traded token for a couple of weeks outside of RH tokens. And unfortunately, we had bad leadership. We had very influential leadership, but they weren't experienced with liquidity providing. They weren't very good at maintaining price. And they kind of got frustrated at people dumping on them because it was a very high yield system and everyone was broke. And instead of kind of finding a solution to sort that out, which we were trying to do, they just basically dumped all their assets, and they were basically all of the liquidity providers. And yeah, so the token had a 99% retrace. And then what they did was they tried to pressure people to jump to their new tokens, which was a constant scam chain. So we kind of got a really bad name after that, which was disappointing. So, myself and a few others, we kind of dusted ourselves off and said, well, we all were really passionate about this protocol. We love the foundation of it. We love what's going on with it. So why don't we just regroup together, build up community LP? None of us were whales. We're all just small kind of players. We already got wrecked, by buying 20 cent hex. Then we got wrecked by this thing. So we were like, okay, let's just rebuild what we have here. We're still passionate about it. So since we've had about 4 meetups, in multiple different areas in the world, we've rebuilt ourselves. And now we're kind of learning from those mistakes and not relying on, a couple of influential people to provide liquidity, or a couple of influential people to do our kind of marketing. So now we've kind of rebuilt it from the ground up, and now we have a truly decentralized digital mining with ASIC. We have a decentralized Bitcoin on PulseChain and Ethereum. So that's kind of the foundation of where we're at. I'm not sure if there's anything you want to add, or I can go into some stats or.
Flawless operation, by the way.
Yes.
Never been down. Always done everything it's supposed to. I've been mining Pulse Bitcoin from the beginning. I wouldn't say I was a whale. Actually, I don't know what the status is, but I was in there. When ASICs were $1. You know what I mean? And thinking, we're all gonna be rich. Obviously. There was a breakdown in leadership, but I think even it's just like anything that goes through these trials and tribulations and goes through the worst thing and still survives, man. It proves the protocol, especially because there hasn't been any breakdown in the code. I mean, everything is working flawlessly, and I think that's a big deal for PulseChain. I think it's a big deal for Pulse Bitcoin, and now you got Pulse Litecoin. I mean, these are brands that people are going to come over when they do find us, and they are going to gravitate to the things that they know, which I think is part of adoption in PulseChain.
Yeah, thank you for that. And so the first thing kind of I volunteered to almost kind of take over as community leadership, and there is no leadership in Pulse Bitcoin. That's we realized by putting a king there before Wolverine, it doesn't work because we're supposed to be decentralized. Richard Hart's situation is different. Richard Hart's situation is very different. In our situation, we followed that model of having a Richard Hart, and Wolverine was trusted in that position, and he failed. He, unlike Richard Hart doing the right thing, he didn't do the right thing. Right. So we decided, I'm no billionaire, I'm no millionaire. I'm just a poor pleb. But I offered to provide leadership, and I encouraged the community to repair some of the problems. So what was our problem? Well, the fact that if 2 or 3 whales don't like a project, they can just rug it. So we started addressing liquidity issues. First of all, on Ethereum, we got about 12 of us to lock LP. A few $100 each, a few $1,000. Locked that for multiple years. And then we worked with 2 fucks, started providing liquidity over there. So people had rewards. And just throughout the ecosystem, now if you go to Pulse Doge, let me give you some stats here. So we've managed to repair the ship. So right now, ASIC token on both chains has a market cap of 2.36 million. Pulse Bitcoin has a market cap of 630K. Pulse Doge has a 2.1 million market cap across both chains. And Pulse Litecoin, which only came out around 50 days ago, has a market cap of 30K. Okay. You've got combined LP of around $200,000 across all tokens. Not really high, but obviously we've had a price dip. And just to give you some examples of some of the pumps we've done, ASIC on the Pulse chain did a 12.5x in 2 months recently. A 47x in the last few months, over 7 months we've done on eASIC on the Ethereum side. We did a nice, what did we do? PLSB, yeah, we did an 11x and a 19x recently. A PLSD, we did, as I said earlier, we did 3 9x's in 6 months back on the ETH side. Now the PLSD guys are focusing efforts on the PulseChain side. They've achieved a nice 7x on the last 3 months. Those guys have got a lot of liquidity in there, a lot of volume, and they're tying themselves with Up Token, with Teddy Bear, things like that. So they're doing their own experiments over there. And obviously Pulse Litecoin, you've got on the 2FUX protocol, you can put in your Pulse Bitcoin, your ASIC, and your Pulse Litecoin, and you can get 73% just from providing APY, just from providing LP. So what we're finding is we're centralized around the branding of Pulse Bitcoin, but really it's, out of all the tokens there, what you're finding is you're finding little sub-communities that like to store their value in different places. So there's lots of different options, lots of different options there. You've got the guys that put in millions of dollars on the Ethereum ASIC side that obviously got totally wrecked. They're doing something interesting now because they're basically using it as a tax loss, so some of them that lost a lot of money, they're cashing out, excising a tax loss, and they're accumulating their EASIC on that side. They're encouraged, they see development continuing, and they've still got a few hundred wallets mining over there. So they're starting to park their value there. That's why we've seen a 30x or 47x in price over the last few months. They're not selling. That's why LP is quite low. You're starting to see the same trend now on PulseChain. You're starting to see certain wallets start building up that PulseChain ASIC. So we think that trend will continue on the PulseChain side, because you got to remember the Ethereum side is more established because it's had more time. But we're starting to get new people do the same thing with storing their value in PASIC. We've got 4 current independent developers, all developing, building different dApps, different protocols on the system. And obviously the PLSD guys are kind of operating independently right now. Obviously, they've only got 6 million tokens or so, and 250,000 were sent to Richard. He spoke about it on his live stream once. They're doing their own strategy. And this PLTC thing just offers a new opportunity for anyone new to the system that wants to kind of maybe come in and be a whale or a shark or a dolphin in that, and what we're kind of trying to say to people is, from the small amount of community we have who are serious, there's too many tokens in this thing to run it all. So we invite new developers in, we invite new people who want to come in and be influential, and define their own future, and see what development they want to have. It's all open source.
Awesome. I'd like to get a little feedback from Fast Abdul there, the guy up in the corner in the cabin, because, I know that he's calculated and well measured in so many things that he does, and we're all excited about the things that you guys are building with 2FUX and how it helps so many projects within the ecosystem. And then you have, a conviction and you kind of putting a stamp on, I don't know about a stamp, but like, I know that you have a slice of the pie within Pulse Bitcoin, and that's probably through a calculated thought process. And I kind of want to hear about that and what your thoughts are.
Yeah, you bet. So, I'm not part of any team. Like Fat Sammy said, there's no centralized leadership. There's no allotment in regards to Pulse Bitcoin. But I always found it interesting in that it was like, a better Bitcoin. So, we've heard that before, but I believe how it works is true. Like, you have this ASIC miner token. It's decentralized. You don't need to use 10 million terawatts of power to mine it. And it's diminishing returns on the mining, right? Just like Bitcoin, accelerated halving cycles. That's pretty cool. So my interest came in with 2FUX. I saw it as a natural fit for FUX and 2FUX. That this could be something that could be helped by having farms on the FUX exchange and thus on the 2FUX yield amplifier. And we did that, and it seemed to work. I think we increased the liquidity by magnitudes by giving people an opportunity to earn to provide liquidity. And there's now 2 farms on FUX and 2FUX. I believe there's the Mine Your Business pool, which is the newest one. Let's see how that's doing. I think that one's paying fairly well. So,
yeah, that you've got one paying. I think the new one is about 73%, which you have to put ASIC, Pulse Bitcoin, and Pulse Litecoin in. But recently we were getting over 200% in the mind your business one, but that's dropped off recently. We need to educate our holders to start using their voting power for that one.
Yeah, but like 70% is not terrible APR, especially if you're trying to help the community and you want to mine. It's it's better than nothing for sure. I'll take it over a kick in the pants every day. The other pool, the Pulse Make Pulse Bitcoin Great Again pool, isn't paying much at all right now, but there's still a decent amount of liquidity there, especially compared to what we started with. And of course, those two pools work together for liquidity providing purposes. In that they're making multiple, like the equivalent of about 5 V2 pairs between them. So it's definitely has some functionality to it. And when people are incentivized to provide liquidity, and they do provide liquidity, then you end up with like a cushion for the community when there's sells, and you have a place for whales to get in when they're buys, when they want to buy, right? Because no whale's going to come in. Well, of course they do, but they don't really want to pay 70% slippage to go in 10 grand on a token.
Right.
So to be able to do that by getting the community to come in and provide liquidity, have them be rewarded, I think is a win. So it was a bit of a trial on my part. Hey, will this work? And at that time, I don't think Pulse Bitcoin was very popular. So I consider it a successful test case for what 2 fucks and fucks can do. And I think it's been a win. And I think we'll continue to win together. Like right now, we have that 70% on the one pool. If more community members vote for the other pool, maybe we'll get that back up to 70%. Or maybe they trade off. Maybe one pays 1 month and one pays another month. That's okay too. People can shift around. But to have those larger liquidity pools and to have those farms where people can see like, oh, there's something to do with this other than sell it, which I think is right. That's huge.
And to that point with, what can you imagine in the bull market if Wolverine was still here? And what kind of, and he had an epiphany to do the things that he did then within the bull market, and how that would just crush so many people. So in so many ways, it was kind of a course correct. It was kind of a gift to the community. You know what I mean? That's what it kind of sounds like. And in so many ways, it kind of tarred and feathered him. And, whether he's still just like hiding in the shadows of the community, that's on him, but he's not public because, he's been kind of like, hey, you're not welcome. That kind of behavior is not okay. And then obviously you guys allowing it to just be completely decentralized and let it do its thing. That's a beautiful story. And that's an opportunity to kind of shine light on not just Pulse Bitcoin, but also PulseChain as a whole, because everyone loves a story that's, like the hero's journey, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to sit here and tout like our story, but like we stumbled out the gates and we had to like make some course corrections with what we were doing. And it's because we have conviction in where we're at within PulseChain and Hexaco, and that this is just different. And I kind of woke up today just feeling real grateful and gratitude for where we're at. You kind of deal with all this energy coming at you in regards to just different things going on in your life personally. But then you're kind of like, man, this thing, crypto and DeFi is kind of a beautiful thing with all the things that we're dealing with in the macro, like we were talking about. There's a lot of messed up things going on in the world. And I do believe that Richard does believe that we need to change the money and change the world. And so it's exciting to see what you guys are building. For anyone who's watching live, obviously I put in the website here. Check it out. I also have the Telegram right here. Bang.
Yeah. Quick note on that. So obviously originally the developers of Pulse Bitcoin, they had the centralized. So not only did we have the problem of centralized liquidity providing by 2 to 3 whales, we also had the problem that the Telegram and the front ends were all run by either developers or whales. We're talking about under 5 people. And when they kind of yeeted on the project, as I say, as a community, our first mission was, okay, let's make sure this never happens again. Let's make sure our LPs, sorted out. And I think we've just covered that, how we asked the community all to pull together, and we found these different solutions, 2Fox being a key one on the PulseChain side. And, UNIX, about 15 of us locking up tokens on the ETH side. So we kind of repaired that bridge. And then the next focus was, okay, what if the developer pulls down the front end? So now we've got multiple front ends, backup front ends,
Nice.
all hosted by different admins in the community. So there's no point of weakness. We've got someone now building. And I'll say before I start this, the reason why I kind of felt confident to come in and kind of really give this project my all was the first thing we did was I flew out to LA, and we did a Pulse Bitcoin meetup in Palm Springs.
Nice.
I spent about a week out there. We met up with about 20 Pulse Bitcoin holders, and for the first 4 days, we just sat in a house and we downloaded all of the Etherscan information, and we built a database which we take from. We really want to know, is Gunther still here? Is Pepe still here? Are these kind of net negative people still here? Do they still have dumping power? Before we tell everyone it's over, we got a clean start. We want to prove that. So yeah, we do have databases. Corky.tech, the guy that developed Pulse Litecoin, which I'll talk about in a minute.
Okay.
He created a kind of stats page so you can see the mining rate, what's going on there. And yeah, we built a database. So now we know how many miners, who's dumping, who's buying, who these people are. So we can say with confidence what's going on. We don't want to be kind of the blind leading the blind and just saying, oh, we think those people are out dumping power. We don't want people to get wrecked again. Our community got destroyed by bad leadership. So we're very serious about making sure we restore the people that stuck with us, restore their value.
That's awesome. And not only to that, like just to highlight the fact that you got together with them in Palm Springs, in life real meetups. I love them. I've always preached that your net worth is your network, and your opportunity to have that relationship outside of the context like we're having right here, this medium. When you get to spend time with people and you break bread with them, it increases the level of trust and just your ability to operate on a larger level. I know AJ there, Rip City, like we've hung out with each other, and my boy Vets and Crypto also have hung out a number of times, whether it's in Seattle or Las Vegas. So good on you to making that trip and kind of solidifying just the foundation of what's being built with you guys.
Yeah. And it's just been refreshing. So now obviously we've got Pulse Litecoin, which was built by one of our community members, Corky. So he basically been working on so obviously it was part of the roadmap originally from the original developers that they wanted to kind of keep on this Pulse Bitcoin. So we've got the rebranding of ASIC mining, and then we've got the rebranding of Pulse Bitcoin, and then obviously the roadmap originally was Pulse Litecoin, another well-established brand. So Corky has developed that on his own back, all the background. He came to us a few months ago and said, "Hey guys, I've been working on this. Take a look at the code. Let's see if we find any bad flaws." So we spoke to people in multiple other projects in PulseChain. They took a look at it for us. They said, "Okay, it looks pretty good." We community funded it to get an audit, and then that was launched. So basically now with ASIC token, you're not just mining Pulse Bitcoin. You can also now mine Pulse Litecoin. Pulse Litecoin, again, the beautiful thing is any developer that wants to develop and make a token mineable using the digital mining token ASIC, it has to follow the centralized Pulse Bitcoin halving ratio. So Pulse Litecoin was launched, I think, in the third halving of Pulse Bitcoin. So you were currently getting 7.5% for the first month. Now that's been halved. So I think we're only probably going to get around 3 to 4 million tokens total supply on the PulseChain side. And on the Ethereum side, there's much less people mining. So you're probably going to find you probably only get max 2 million tokens over there. And the community on the east side, the biggest, I'm one of the largest holders of that one, alongside about 3 other people, and we've all basically agreed with ourselves that we're not going to sell Pulse Litecoin. We're going to hold it almost as a meme token. Pulse Doge Part 2, we're just going to hold it, not sell it, put push that chart up nice and high, let people dump, give people free money for the next year. If they want to dump on us, we don't mind doing that. But then use that as a beautiful chart to show people the power of mining with ASIC. And Pulse Bitcoin is the same way. All these tokens. So right now we're inviting people to come into our ecosystem. There's plenty of room for you. If you don't want to be an ASIC whale with over a few $100,000, that's fine. You could come. There's space for you in Pulse Bitcoin. Pulse Bitcoin's had a sell-off recently on the Pulse side. You can come in and accumulate there. But if you're a really small holder and you're passionate and you want to kind of become part of the community and significant, then Pulse Litecoin's great. You've got, I say, only 30K liquidity there. I think there's only around 500,000 tokens at the moment. So, and a really low price. So, what we're trying to be inviting to anyone who wants to come in and be part of the community, and we have regular meetings. Everyone gets a free vote, it's like a DAO system,
Yeah. I think that your point about not selling is something that we need to do a better job at within the community, as far as educating people on how to, obviously we have Mr. Fast Abdul here, 2 Fucks, where there's ways that you can garner, income. Let's just call it what it is,
Yes.
opportunity yield
People need
within
a
the
reason
system.
not to sell.
Yeah,
give me a reason, and I think that's the key. And a lot of communities aren't doing that. So, that's something that we're trying to bridge is, between being a hodler and being an earner. Being an earner is much more attractive to me. I'm kind of old, but I think other people probably will feel that way too.
Yes, I mean, store of value is kind of our ethos. It's kind of what we're all about with Pulse Bitcoin, and we're not afraid to admit that we've kind of learned every year we try something different, and every year we make new mistakes. And so we tried to make Pulse Bitcoin the store of value, and that, to be honest with you, it kind of failed. On the east side we did an experiment. About 6 of us, we pumped in around $120,000 about 8 months ago into Pulse Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And we pumped that boy up to, I think we did a 15x then a 20x over 6 months. But we couldn't sustain the price because there was too many legacy holders who bought it, they bought their ASIC at $1. Well, when we gave them 20 cents price, they were more than happy just to dump on us. So we couldn't hold that value. It cost us too much. And we learned the lessons. Okay, don't push up the price so far, so high. You have to make it sustainable, So then we realized, what we can control? ASIC. All those kind of people have already dumped their ASIC. That was the first token to be abused. So now we're finding that the store of value works for ASIC. So the people that are really long term in this protocol are accumulating their ASIC. We're seeing on both chains. So right now that's working great for our long term institutional investors. And obviously all those ASIC, the serious ones, that they're holding their Pulse Bitcoin, but there's still people dumping it. So as these halvings go and go and go, and people start to realize there's more options, with 2 Fucks and whatnot, and other IMPLS, which we're talking to about creating vaults. Once people see new options for holding their Pulse Bitcoin, and we give them more options, then they're going to start to do that. But we're still going through that phase at the moment where Pulse Bitcoin is still a dump token to some people, which is fine. We have to adapt and read the market data. But the beautiful thing about all these projects is you can only dump them for so long. All these tokens have a limited supply. And that is foundational to all of our token kind of assets. Is they are, and each token slowly gathers over the years people that are really serious about holding it. So for ASIC, right now, there's I'd say about 10 people that are really serious about accumulating eASIC, and they've no reason to dump it, as you say. So right now they can borrow money against it. They don't need to dump it. They can borrow money against it, and that's what's going on right now. So, you might see $2,500 traded over 24 hours on it, but what you don't see is there's thousands of dollars in the background being traded because it's our store of value. So I think what's happening right now is PASIC is going through that early stage, and I think the PASIC model is going to follow what the eASIC model has done because it's got more maturity on it. And I think the first store of value you're going to see is those 18 million tokens of ASIC on each chain. You're going to see more and more development happen with them, being able to mine more tokens, and the holders not selling them. So I think once we get stability and price going up nice and gradually over time with the ASIC, you're going to start to see the Pulse Bitcoin follow suit, and then eventually Pulse Litecoin follow suit. And then explore different ideas about locking them in and doing some more complex stuff. as we move forward. But yeah, that's kind of store of value is a very important key here.
It is, and I liked Fast Abdul's their point about being an earner. And another tool that I want to highlight is, our boy Triple Dad and what MCR is doing as far as like in the future. I get that when there's more eyeballs and attention on PulseChain, and that you have a high ticket item that you're trying to accomplish in your own personal life, that an OTC desk is something that could be very beneficial for people, because you're going to have people that are going to desire what you have, and they know there's a lot of room for growth, and you're kind of in a position where you're like, hey, I really want that house, what have you. So I think, again, I'm just real excited about the opportunity for everyone in this community to kind of start collaborating and teaching and learning together. I think that when we see the growth potential that we're doing, a lot of this infighting will stop, and of course green candles help too. Oh, you're muted, brother.
I just want to say as well, early on, just relation to Hex and PulseChain.
Yeah.
I was originally, a Wave 2 hexagon, and I was in a big community of hexagons. We had a Discord, the largest Discord, which I was kind of running. We had about 3,000 hexagons in there, very active. And when I started to kind of work on Pulse Bitcoin, there was a lot of pushback, a lot of hatred from me being a hex maxi to kind of now and then being, what people saw as a betrayal, kind of focusing on Pulse Bitcoin. And I think we've seen that generally. That's kind of died off now, but I'm not sure if you guys remember when, obviously, Hex went from 50 cents down to 0.3 cents, and there was a lot of pain, a lot of upset. And obviously, at the same time, we had PulseChain launching, and a lot of builders there. So there's this weird kind of situation where, of course, if you're launching a new chain, you need tokens and activity and new development going on. But at the same time, people were very angry that people weren't just buying Hex, and we kind of still see a little bit of that now.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'd like to say to the community is that, well, my community, the ones that are close to me, we are, number one, some of us are in the top 200 of Hex holders, Hex stakers. And our plan is, when our Hex stakes come out from 2025 to 2030, sure, we're gonna take those profits. We're not gonna send them to our bank account and go and buy a yacht or buy a house or go and buy a supercar and a new wife. No, our plan is to literally, I'll tell you straight up, our plan is to take those. Yes, we're going to sell, of course, and we're going to take the tokens over to EASIC, pair them in USDC. We don't want to take them out of crypto. We don't want to send them to our bank. If we need money, we'll borrow against them. And then when we get to the bottom of the bear market, we're going to reaccumulate our Hex again and do the whole thing again. So all we're doing is exercising the ebbs and flows of the market. And by having the ETH side, it allows us to capitalize our gains in a stable situation, gain more momentum, buy the bottom. So each cycle in PulseChain, you're getting people like us coming back to PulseChain with more and more money. It's exactly what Richard Hart's doing right now.
Right.
So, just to dispel some of the kind of confusion there, because people go, oh, you're putting your money out of PulseChain for a couple of months. Well, at least we're open about it. We tell you what we're doing. We say, we pulled our money out of PulseChain. No, by the way, I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm speaking about, there's certain groups in our, in Pulse Bitcoin that do certain things and certain other groups that do other things. But even in our own community, we get a lot of that confusion. What side are we on? Are we on ETH? Are we on Pulse? Well, we've got a complex community of over 6,000 holders that all have their own beliefs. So we're not all one thing. Right? But at least we're providing options, and we're always RH focused. Every single person in our community believes in RH, and they believe in PulseChain. I just want to put that out there.
Hey, about the ASIC token, which I think is the coolest part of the whole project. Like, what kind of APRs are we talking about for mining with ASIC tokens?
So currently with Ethereum,
Bitcoin and Pulse Bitcoin, because you get 2 tokens as rewards, right?
Yeah. So currently on Ethereum, you're getting 7.5% monthly in Pulse Litecoin.
Okay, well let's break that down. So that's monthly,
yeah,
right? So 7.5%. So multiply that by 12.
Mm-hmm. That's just for mining. That's just for mining, by the way.
Yeah, just for mining, and that's in both tokens. So 90% APR on Ethereum to mine with Pulse.
And then if you lock that in the 2 Fox pool, mine your business, you get an additional 76% on top of that.
Sorry, but what are we talking about? Ethereum now? Or are we talking about?
Yeah. So just if we start with Pulse Litecoin, for instance, you're getting because we're still in the first halving of Pulse Litecoin, so you're still.
Let's not make it confusing. Let's make it just like one number. So on Ethereum, what is the APR for mining with ASIC?
It's so for Pulse Litecoin, 7.5% times 12.
Okay, and for Pulse Bitcoin,
I believe it's 1.75%.
1.75. Okay, so I got 9.25% times 12. So it's paying 111% on Ethereum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And that's just mining. So single-sided staking.
Just
people,
mining, yeah.
Right? Like there's no impermanent loss risk. You're not losing to impermanent loss. Okay, so then with on PulseChain, what are we getting for
PulseChain? Both Pulse Bitcoin and so basically we have more users who are active on the PulseChain side because obviously we're PulseChain focused. So we are in the next halving. We're one halving ahead in the PulseChain because we have more active users and less gas fees. Yeah. So those mining rewards are pretty much in half those for PulseChain side.
So half what you get.
We have about four times the active users on the PulseChain.
Okay, so still 55% to APR, single-sided staking on the PulseChain side.
Yes, that's right. But then with 2FUCKS, you get to power up with the additional.
That's right. Yeah. So then you have something to do with the tokens other than sell them on the PulseChain side.
Yes.
Okay. That works. And ASIC token is way cheaper on the PulseChain side, right?
So currently we've just done a 46x on ASIC, 47x in about 7 months on the east side. Nice. I say because of the tax harvesting and the whales, there's about 10 whales over there that are kind of accumulating. On the PulseChain side, we expect that habit to kind of flow through. We tend to see ideas happen on the east side, and that eventually filters through to the PulseChain side. But so there's about 80 million tokens each side. We're starting to see wallets start to accumulate that ASIC, and whatever developer comes to our project, we always insist they do mirror image on both sides. So so I think ASIC is the real one you want to start accumulating and mining with. If you're kind of in PulseChain or you're in crypto for at least 10 years, and Pulse Bitcoin, again, it does some crazy X's. When we had a hex go up, since in August, September, which by the way, I came out and told everyone we were bottomed out. So a lot of our followers managed to buy Pulse and buy hex at the bottom, and we basically outperformed hex, obviously because we got thinner liquidity and less tokens, but a lot of that money was recycled into hex and vice versa. So our mission is to basically try and get our hexagons to make as much money on hex. We'll always support hex and tell them when to buy and when we think they should dump. And then when we think the market's over, tell them to go and store their value on the ETH side and then come back to the PulseChain when we think that's bottomed. I think that's our strategy, basically. Our strategy is to the people that are with us long term, that want to build wealth over a long time. So many people focus on how to build their value, talking about the top of the bull run. When's the bull run going to end? But as a store of value community, we are saying, okay, how do you store that value and not lose it all in the bear market? And that's a difficult conversation, but it's something that needs to be spoken about.
It is, and to that point, we know that Fast Abdul has created some stuff. And AJ, I want to go to you because I feel like you got something here real soon. But I could feel you, but I know that he's talked about having pools that are stable coins for the bear market. Yes. And you continue to earn, and you don't just if you're in a heavy tax jurisdiction area or what have you, you're just not anyways, bottom line is you're staying in the system, but you're continuing a lifestyle of hopefully abundance for everyone. In which you're just, you're just kind of chilling. You're waiting for your opportunity to continue to, start watering your seeds again within the ecosystem when the time is right.
For sure.
But I like that little kingdom setup that you got going on there, buddy. AJ, what say to you there, brother?
I just listening. First of all, I would say, if you're interested in this ecosystem, you should watch this over again because there's so many gold nuggets through this whole stream today. And the other thing is, thank you, Sammy. and fast. I mean, bring in like, look, I've been around since Pulse Bitcoin became when it began. I believed in the people that were talking about it and building it out. Obviously, there was a glitch in the matrix and something happened, and here we are. You know, like King Pooie, you've been through the trenches, you've been through the worst, and here we are on the end because of the protocol that was built. And thinking, you know, 2, 3, 4 cycles out, that this thing is a big deal. I know even Fast talks about it, even with like the Bored Apes. You know, you want to have something that has a brand that is recognizable, and being a part of the greatest blockchain on earth, knowing that the future is coming for us, and understanding that the adoption that is coming, they are going to gravitate to things that they know, and Bitcoin is one of them. So we have Pulse Bitcoin. Litecoin is one of them, and so we have Litecoin now. The ASICs, I don't know why you would get rid of your ASICs. They're the money printers. So I never did any of that, and obviously I'm a holder of everything and never gotten rid of anything. But lucky for me that I listened to Richard Hart about holders, right? But anyway, I'm just grateful that you stepped up, Sammy, and you believed in everything that this decentralized platform called Pulse Bitcoin is, and what it is, and that you've continued to march forward through all of the bullshit. It says a lot about you, man, and I'm grateful that I'm in the community. I'm not really visible in your community, but I am here. I've been watching, you know, accumulating here and there, but definitely really proud of you, dude. And wish you the best for all of us, right? All of us we need these things for PulseChain, right? We need long-lasting things that are flawless, things that work the way they're supposed to, and things that people are going to identify when they get here. And I think you're a part of that. And thank you for all you do, buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so just on that point, I 100% agree. So one of our key strategies, which how much time have we got left?
You're good, buddy.
Yeah, let's go another 10 or 15 minutes while I have you.
So let me do a couple of minutes on this one, just to kind of, since we're now in the advanced stages, anyone still listening. So talking about store of value. So, you know, we have 2 arms of this project. Obviously, the first arm being on the PulseChain side, and we're tied with PLS, obviously. Now, that is your altcoin season opportunity of a lifetime, because obviously, you know, we encourage all of our holders to have allocation in PLSX, in Pulse, in Hex. We always talk about Hex, and we always encourage everyone to also have some Pulse Bitcoin. But we also tell our holders, don't go and put all of your money into Pulse Bitcoin. Pulse Bitcoin should be, you know, a small allocation compared to the RH tickers. But with limited supply, you can really kind of triple. For example, if Hex goes up 10x, you might make 30x on Pulse Bitcoin. But we can't we can't give out fake information and say that it's going to hold its value. The same way that Richard Hart wanted Hex to hold its value. What was he telling people early on? Oh, I wish you guys would remove that ETH liquidity and start providing USDC liquidity, and the community didn't listen. His original plan was for Hex to hold its value, and it didn't. So we took that message very seriously. So that's why we've on the Ethereum side, we've built all of our liquidity through USDC. Nice. So what we're at the moment we're encouraging our users to do is, when we hit the top of our P cycle, top of altcoin season, bring those tokens back into our USDC pairs on ETH side. You're not going to suffer the losses at all. You're actually probably going to have a pump, if anything. So that's where we're really going to shine in the bear market. So you're going to lock in those profits, maybe even double them, triple them during the 6th month of bear, and then you transfer them back, buy the 90% dip on the P side, and you've come back in, you've got 3 times the amount of tokens, and then you have 3 years of upside. So that's the kind of system we're utilizing. And then eventually what we hope to see is USDC or maybe even PDI, who knows, if we reach parity, all those sort of ideas, you know, start to increase in their pairing on the PulseChain side. So so our roadmap is very serious and very long. We really are serious about store of value, keeping people in the ecosystem, and offering opportunities for new developers and even smaller participants to come and have a space. You know, we have many groups. You know, we have the Pulse Doge guys. We don't mess with them. The ASIC guys don't mess with them. We all keep in touch, but we don't step on each other's toes. You know, we're all kind of supportive of each other. We got limited amount of tokens, and yeah, we just want to be serious about it. We all want to get as much Ethereum as we can, as much Hex as we can. That's the main mission, you know.
It sounds like you got a couple of different camps out there, and like you said, you don't step on each other's toes. And so I'd kind of associate that with like, hey, this camp over here has oceanfront property in California, but it's not the same as the oceanfront property in Florida. Yeah. They're separate, but we need to kind of think about things as real estate on the blockchain, and that we are in an opportunity to be earners as far as being the landlords of this real estate on the blockchain. And that gives us opportunity. And just because, you know, Hex might be the Dubai, it doesn't mean that you don't want your real estate in Tahiti. You know what I mean? It's a good thing to have a little bit, you know, here and there. And there's smart people all over the place that are doing great things. And the other thing I want to kind of highlight too is, like, you know, when the maxis kind of get like, hey, PulseChain and just Hex only, and I'll admit that I was very RH Hex centric, but when the airport is healthy and there's not just one airplane coming into the landing strip a day, but there's multiple airplanes coming in, and you're an earner off the network of that airport's, you know, income, as we are, and that people look over and they go, man, they're really getting along and they're having a good time. That's when more attraction happens, and that's when the airport gets really busy, and that's the network effect. When we can kind of lay down some of these rifts and infighting, and we can kind of start working together. And so I kind of like what you guys are doing as far as just like obviously networking and collaborating with each other and continuing to build.
Yeah, and also, I mean, my responsibility is to be profitable. So, you know, let's say, for example, you know, I was very, you know, influential in my group of people in August. You know, I took a hiatus, and I came back after 4 months, and I said, everyone, I think the bottom's in for PulseChain. Let's buy it. Let's buy Hex. We made a lot of money, and we sold, and a lot of people would say, oh, Sammy, you sold the PulseChain. Okay, we made like a 4x. We made a lot of money. We reserved those, you know, we sold at 2 to 3 cents. And a lot of people were very critical with us and upset by that. But what we're doing is we're taking that money out of the downtrend. We're making more money on Ethereum. And of course, our plan is to bring it back. Would you rather have everyone just sit there on PulseChain, stare at the screen, watch their dip and just do nothing? Some of us have to go there and make money because we're bringing money to the chain. You know, the only other way we bring money to the chain is onboarding. You know, so we either do onboarding or we become profitable and extract value from other chains and bring them to PulseChain. So, you know, don't be hating on people that are doing that. Yes, hate on people that try to extract. If there are communities that are extracting users away from them and not bringing them back to the system, then yes, I think they are net negatives. I mean, I won't mention any names, but there are communities in the PulseChain that literally just do try and take people to Ethereum and then don't want them coming back. They've got no cyclical cycle or invested kind of system with them. So yeah, I think they are net negative communities, but the Pulse Bitcoin community is very kind of intertwined with RH. You know, he is our inspiration, and yeah, that's our mission, is to eventually become the premium Bitcoin product, premium digital mining after the T-share on PulseChain.
I mean, to that point, as far as kind of a rotation, if you will, I mean, I think the granddaddy of them all we'll probably see that play out, where someone knows that something else might go up a substantial amount or a good enough amount, Sack Daddy, and might rotate it in, right? So I think, I mean, it's proven to be a concept that plays out nicely for some people. Sometimes people do that in Bitcoin. You know, they take the rise up in the cycle, and then we call it alt season.
Sell it, buy your ETH. Ride the ETH up, sell it, go buy Hex. It's not that complicated.
Right.
You're harvesting value, right? You're harvesting value and bringing it to the chain you love.
Yep. Fast, you got anything else? You know, I see that we're homeless, that we're living in a bridge, underneath a bridge. Yeah. You know, you come out to Oregon, where I'm at.
This park right now, but I think that the PulseChain is going to change into a castle sometime soon. That's just my opinion, not financial advice.
Right.
And my general viewpoint, which maybe not everybody agrees with, but I think as far as Pulse Bitcoin goes, I think when people from Ethereum come over to PulseChain and they see, oh, there's a Pulse Bitcoin, and it works like Bitcoin but better. Like exactly. And I know like Hex is a better Bitcoin argument and stuff like that, but Hex doesn't work like Bitcoin. It's a different thing. It's set up differently. This is set up the same, except for with an accelerated halving schedule, and you get 2 tokens instead of 1 when you mine, and you have great liquidity pools that pay you currently up to 70%. But we've seen crazy APRs on there, Sammy? Maybe over 200% in the past. So like, I think those people from Ethereum will come. They're going to find Pulse Bitcoin. Then they're going to find the ASIC token, which is stupid cheap right now, in my opinion. And then we're going to see some real APRs. Like if Pulse Bitcoin was worth, even if it just went back to $1 on the Pulse chain, the APRs would be insane on the mining. And which of course will push up the price of the ASIC token and so on and so forth. And it could be a very interesting experience. So that's what I'm hoping happens, just what I would like to see happen. And I don't think it's that far-fetched. And all this FUD about Wolverine and so on and so forth, and that guy's gone now, which I think is good for this community. I'm not commenting on him personally, but I don't think there was a fit there. That'll mean nothing to new people who come from Ethereum. They'll just see, oh, Pulse Bitcoin. Oh, I can mine it. Oh, I get Pulse Litecoin too. Like, that's all they'll know, right? And then they'll see like, oh, this pool is paying 70%. This pool is paying 180%. And they'll be there and they'll be able to take advantage of that. And they won't be looking back in history to find out that some guy named Wolverine, who's no longer even on Twitter, once was a whale. He wasn't the founder at all, dumped a coin. Right. But if they look at the tokenomics of the thing, and I'm not sure if Fat Sammy mentioned this today, but he pulled an insane deal where he got the creator of Pulse Bitcoin to burn his ASIC tokens. Is that correct, Sammy?
Is it? Yeah. Is this question right here?
Yeah.
Is that a correct statement?
Yeah. So basically, after our first objective of providing a community LP, and all the other objectives were achieved, and then obviously putting out all the fires and the negativity we had to deal with, one of our community members managed to find out the name of the developers. So I contacted them. And I basically said, listen, you know, we're trying to push this thing forward. We want it to be truly decentralized. We've got rid of our toxic whales. The only toxicity left, I'm afraid, is yourself, because a lot of money that was sent you, I think there was around $4 million sent to the founder for this project. You know, you were kind of, even though there's no expectations, you gave the illusion that you would provide liquidity. So after we had those bad actors remove themselves, you should have come in with that SAC money and do the right thing. You didn't. So I said, listen, I'm not saying there might be a group lawsuit, but there might be one. But I tell you what, if you send all of your tokens on all chains to the burn address, then you can take your money, wipe your mouth, walk away, and we'll leave you alone. And he agreed. So he burned all of his tokens. Yeah. So the biggest hole
on chain, like there's proof, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a community takeover via mafia style cohesion. No, wrong word. Anyway, Fat Sammy roughed him up and he burned all his tokens. And now it's a community takeover with very low dump-mentals on compared to what it had before. So if you have that huge wallet hanging over your head, then I would think twice about going in myself, just my own thoughts. But knowing that the founder has no more tokens, that they have no input in what the price does, is pretty cool. And that new people are building on top of it and adding additional value. That's pretty cool too.
Yeah, and I just noticed 2 days ago he actually what's it called, where you keep the website going for another couple of years. He just did that. But even if he doesn't, we've got backups built. So yeah.
The Pulse Litecoin site does it all, right? Like that's you mine both on that site. And when people are mining with ASIC, do it on the Pulse Litecoin site. If we can post that somewhere, that'd be good.
Yeah, just to say that really clearly.
You get both tokens in.
Yeah, so if you've got ASIC mining token, if you choose Ethereum or PulseChain, whatever your preference, obviously you can go to pulsebitcoin.win for more information about Pulse Bitcoin. You can go to pulselitecoin.app and you can read the white paper about that token. But if you go to pulsebitcoin.app and you mine there, you're only going to be mining Pulse Bitcoin. That is the most established, almost 3 years now. Code's not been messed with. So if you want to be really safe, you don't trust Pulse Litecoin, just go mine that. A lot of us trust Pulse Litecoin. We've had it audited. We know the community member. We trust it. So if you want to take the risk and mine using the new DApp, pulselitecoin.app, you can obviously mine Pulse Bitcoin at the same time through the app and mine your Pulse Litecoin. So you'll be dual mining. And we plan to add more tokens in the future. We're not gonna do this thing where we just keep adding more tokens, but yeah, more tokens will be added in the future. And new website builds will be added, new functionality will be added. So yeah, there'll be a roadmap soon available.
Very cool. The Vikings are out here, we'll call it pillaging, right? We'll leave out the first word, but taking the land. I like it. People, there's a lot of different yield earning opportunities out here. Sometimes people get ruffled in the feathers, hey, Hex only, maybe Hex is like the commercial real estate in Manhattan. And then there's other, earners that are like the beachfront, Airbnb type opportunities. So there's different kinds of real estate on the blockchain for you to earn. 2Fox is, obviously offering up opportunities for you to go and pair up your tokens to make yield. So there's really no excuse for people not to just like make a better lifestyle by earning. And I appreciate you guys coming on here. AJ, you want to give like a little outro of any kind that you kind of want to tee things off as far as like gratitude and thanks?
Yes. Do you just have the helmet or do you actually take your shirt off?
Oh, yeah.
That's... I thought
I have nothing to hide, sir. Nothing to hide.
No shame in his game. No shame in the game.
Thank you guys for all you do. Thanks for coming on. You're welcome anytime. Anytime. Sammy, you want to come on for open mic? I mean, how late is it there right now?
What time is it? Oh, so we're sitting at 7 o'clock at night.
Oh, dude. Yeah. We have open mic twice a week. You come on anytime.
I'll come on for sure. Sometimes I'm on St. Wolf, but apart from that, I'm not really streaming much these days. But I'll try and be more regular because just don't get me wrong, guys. We are Hex is king for us. So it's all about the Hex game, and we're just trying to bring personal value, and we're trying to bring value to PulseChain. Don't get it twisted.
Bass, thanks for taking some time out and coming and hanging out with us. Always love you, buddy.
Yep.
No problem. Anytime.
Yeah, and to everyone, obviously Fat Sammy and Fast Abdul and Matty Allen, and there's so many people that are in this community that are putting in the sweat equity to build things. And, I know that we've been trying to do our thing here on the shit show, just committing to like an hour Monday through Thursday. Obviously we have our own projects, but the thing is what we're trying to do is just create awareness, show good projects on chain, show that there's opportunities within PulseChain, because when people flock to PulseChain and find DeFi and get out of the government and corporate institutions that are trying to strangle them, and we believe the ethos that Richard's talked about as far as getting into DeFi, we're all going to win. You know what I mean? So you could have these, your own projects, but there's nothing wrong with trying to highlight and shine light on beautiful things being built in Hexaco. So I appreciate you guys hopping on here and just kind of telling the story. Obviously there's some mishaps from the get-go. There's been a turnaround, and that I believe the future is bright for so many people within Hex. AJ, I know you want to say something, man.
Still got lots of questions about other stuff, but we'll return to that.
I want to hear them so bad.
I'm like, Sammy, call me, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what happened with Carnival? What happened?
Oh, I really want to talk about that, but
oh my gosh, people don't even know, dude. It's just like, damn. I got those watches still.
That on next stream. I don't mind talking about
that.
Just just to point that out, that was basically a third-party developer that came and built on it. He also did the dirty. You know, I called him out for being a scumbag. He's a scumbag. But that's the beautiful thing about decentralization, right? Anyone can create and build. It's up to you if you participate. But yeah, he created good products and then he just yeeted. So,
it was a great product.
It's another story for another day. You know, unfortunately in DeFi, you get the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I don't know how these people, they just come out and they seem like admirable, like good-hearted, loving, caring people that want to do great things, and they just fail on us, man. It's just like, what? People aren't believing in you, man.
They fail themselves more. They fail themselves more. You know, the people that are in it for the glory,
absolutely,
the people that are willing to stick around, we are going to truly win. You know, because we're going to build family and lifetime longevity. These people that get a couple of $100,000 and rob people, you know,
just crazy, man.
They've got to live with themselves and they've got to hide for the rest of their life. Good luck to them.
Yeah.
Like,
where's Wolverine now? I wonder what character he's using in what community. He's just wrecking somebody.
I think Apple had a picture of his house there behind him earlier with the tent.
I'm sure he's over in Solana somewhere as some, you know,
he's probably
slimy creature.
He's probably scamming a load of 16-year-olds on Solana, yeah.
The last thing I heard from him was when he was in the theater at the highest stake saying, "Hey, man, you should get Wolverine." Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the process. We've got to weed these people out.
It's
part of the process. You know, it's the Wild West over here. So, you know, we get our good folks, now get our bad folks. And hopefully, as we grow, we start to steer people away from the bad folks. And the ones that are here for, you know, longer and longer, you judge them over time. You judge them over
consistency. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, you can't judge PulseChain by the Pulse Latinas or what have you. Know that there's a lot of great guys in the community, but we obviously are trying to highlight the queens of the community also, and we appreciate all the queens within crypto doing their thing as far as teaching people about DeFi, and it's exciting stuff, man. I appreciate you guys coming on the show. The last 30 seconds, anything else you want to say?
Yeah.
Hoorah, guys. Hoorah.
Yeah, just everyone hold tight. I think PulseChain's going to start to move to the upside very soon. So hold tight. Yeah, I've got my DAI on the PulseChain sitting ready. I'm ready to buy. So I think we're going to have a crazy pump soon. Everyone should stick with it and stay on target.
Tonight, the Hex conference is on, third night. Tune in, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't care if you like the people putting it on or the people on the screen. If you're part of the community, support these kind of initiatives. Do you want to be right or do you want to win? I want to win. Let's pull together and get this thing done.
That's right. Well said.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Sure.
Put your differences aside and support the ecosystem.
Yep, that is the plan.
You want to be right or you want to win? I love that.
Yeah. And for those watching,
I'd rather be right, but I'd rather be rich. That's just me.
That's what it should be. You want to be right or you want to be rich?
That's what it should be. In crypto, anyway. Yeah.
Hey, you want to shut up or you want to make some money?
And please share this. Everyone in the Pulse Bitcoin community on the rewatch, please share this. And we're going to try and jump into your open mic and see if we can start building some action here on this channel. It's a great channel.
Yeah,
man.
It'd be good to have you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, obviously Monday through Thursday we've tagged it where we're going to allow it to be Monday and Thursdays for open mic for everyone, because we really want people to feel like they could come in as long as they're not, grifters and scammers, and just share the awesome things that they're building. But then we're going to tag Tuesdays and Wednesdays to be a little bit more exclusive like this. So that's kind of our blueprint. We're just sticking to it. Obviously, the shit show is very speaking of, maybe our stumbles at the gates, but it also speaks to the conviction within what we're doing and building and PulseChain as a whole. And life can be a shit show sometimes, man. And you just got to, brush yourself off and continue to build. And we appreciate you guys coming on and being great community members. So thank you very much.
Hey, in that open mic, you do not have to be a builder. You can just be an excited community member, never been seen before, never been heard before, and just want to get your story out. It doesn't matter who you are. If you want to come on and you want to talk and you want to spread some positivity, this is the place you want to be. Everything that we're doing is about adoption. It is about positivity, getting rid of the toxicity in the community, and we think we're doing a pretty good job. So grateful to have you guys. And yeah, big hoorah to you. Hex Conference.
Yep, Hex Conference. And with that
5 freaking years. Can't believe that.
I know. And with that being said, AJ, I'll play your open mic video and we'll kick things off and say goodbye to everyone. Peace, everyone.
Right on, guys. Hoorah.
We about to get balls pumping. You wanna see a show? Stick around and you'll see something. Other blocks repping chains. Can't be coming. Big TV coming. We coming. We coming. We coming. We coming. Top spot incoming. When we market cap, don't be nothing. We got to make your pulse feel something over here. All pulse, no working. We about to put a stop to meme hunting. Only wants to shill after us. All the memes gonna mean nothing.
Hey, you guys, thanks for tuning in to the shit show. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for open mic. And hey, with that being said, we remember, I'm going to outro with this: Richard coming to the United States, being a good son, installing a bidet for his mom. You guys have a great day. Talk to you later.
Do you want to be a king? Do you want to be a queen? Sitting on the throne, living in...
It's Richard Hart, rumored billionaire and bidet service technician. I'm here to install your bidet, sir.
It's the one and only Eagle Double G.
Here we go. Look at that technology right there. It's going to wash your butt, and your butt's going to be clean. Let's get to work. Woo! Ooh, doggy. Wow, this thing actually works great. Well, anyway, Richard Hart here, rumored to be a billionaire, installing a bidet for someone that I love. It seems to work just fine. It only cost $100, and well, I don't see any leaks. So, clean butts for everybody.
Do you want to be a king? Do you want to be a queen? Sitting on